In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah. Muhammad is his messenger, and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is our divine reminder and one that's in our midst. Happy Ramadan, everybody, and Ramadan Mubarak. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Jock Brothers Presents Let Us Make Man, a podcast of brothers that desires nothing more than to show a positive image as to what a striving man of God should be. For we all are family men who love our children. We all are businessmen. We all are youth mentors, and we all work hard in our communities to make it a decent and safe place to live. When putting this podcast together, we decided to govern our actions by 3 rules. 1 was to put God first in all that we do. 2 was to present content to podcasts that can make you a better you. And 3, to showcase brotherhood and unity amongst men that you can be proud of. My name is Brother Kawi Muhammad. I'll be your host and moderator for tonight. I'm that brother that's very interested in the root of things, the beginning of things, inspirations and motivations. And this show represents that. And so I hope you enjoy those lines of questioning. Let's get to the other host of the Jock Brothers. I want to start off with Brother Jackie. He is going to be a little late, but he will be on. Brother that brings a great attitude to every show. I look forward to him joining us shortly. Now let's get over to our other host. This brother has been on our show before. He once came on as one that's being interviewed, and now he's on as a host. Brother also brings an excellent attitude. He is our local mind provoker. If you follow him on Facebook, he put things on Facebook that just make you go, Born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia, my brother, Rashad Muhammad.
Salam alaikum, Brother Jackie, Brother Khalid, Brother Tim, and Sister Bethany. Thank you so much for having me on tonight.
Praise be to Allah. Last but not least. Yes, sir. I can hear you great. Last but not least, brother right here was born and raised in New York City, son to one of the great FOI in New York City history. He was a national traveler, but now we can put international by his name. Praise brother God. Is the producer of the show. He's an excellent member to have on any team that you want. He's to me the ultimate mover and shaker. My brother, Ahmed B.
Praise be to Allah. Praise be to Allah. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. My name is Brother Ahmed B. I'm your brother. We thank you all for taking time out of your busy schedules to join us tonight. We have 2 great guests tonight, soldiers in the fight for freedom, justice, and equality. We're also joined by a special guest host, Brother Rashad Muhammad. We're going to have an explosive show tonight. So everybody strap in, get your pens and pads out. We're going down history. We're going to give you some knowledge and wisdom tonight. Jock Brothers, we are brothers that you can find our content on Facebook at Jock Brothers. You can go on jockbrothers.com to view our website. And you can also view us on YouTube at Jock Brothers. We also air at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube. And you can also go on YouTube and watch our shows, our previous shows. We have so much information. We're bringing on guests to inform and give knowledge to our community. We also have a prison initiative where we're striving to get the baddest, boldest Black-owned newspaper, The Final Call, behind prison walls to our brothers and sisters who are incarcerated, who want to get this knowledge and information to help reform them. So you can join us by sending any information that you have to Jock Brothers viewers at gmail.com. Jock Brothers viewers at gmail.com. If you have any information or any knowledge of any family members, friends that you want to help us get this knowledge to, please send us any information. We're going on initiative. We're going on a push as part of our charity, and may Allah bless us for our initiative. Thank you. Back to you, Brother Carwy.
Praise be to Allah. Let's get to work. All right, so the first person I'd like to introduce tonight. Of course, we can't start the show off introducing brothers before sisters. I had to clarify that before the show. So it'd be my honor. Our sister, and let me get my notes together, who is the wife of one of the, to me, a legendary captain out of Washington, D.C., has served in the Nation of Islam for over 56 years. She has served as the Mid-Atlantic Press Secretary and public director for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. She is a student of our beloved Mother Tanetta Muhammad. She is a paraeducator for Blackstone Academy. And the subjects they teach, now check this out, the subjects that she teach is biology, chemistry, and physics. How about now? She is, now you can add author to that, to her repertoire, and her book that she wrote is entitled A Case for Separation. I didn't see man put it up, so I got the book right here for you. A Case for Separation. With no further ado, please welcome our sister, Beverly Muhammad.
Allahu Akbar. Assalamu alaikum and Ramadan Mubarak. It is such a pleasure to be on this 16 program. I am just so honored. And I love the program. I watch it every Tuesday. I love the format and what you bring. The information is extraordinary. I am honored to be here with my husband of 41 years, the love of my life, my friend. I am also very, very appreciative and honored to Allah for the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I have been following them for 56 years. I have not found anything to ever cause me to doubt one word.
That's right.
In fact, I am strengthened and I'm a better person because of this. And when I see brothers following the guidance and the love of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, I speak on behalf of all the believing sisters, not just me, but all the believing sisters that have, as the Quran says, a comprehensive knowledge of what we are involved in.
Come on now.
We can just say Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, because the Black man is not on the rise. He is risen. He just needs to wake up. Thank you so much for having me on the program and my husband. Peace.
Thank you for coming.
Woo, well, that was an introduction. Man, those that are out here in our viewing audience, after that introduction, if y'all ain't trying to share this show, of course, subscribe yourself and hit that bell. Wow. I don't know what to say. But before we get to our next guest, we got Brother Jackie on the show. As I said before, brother here brings a great attitude to the show. He brings a great attitude to our meetings. Just a good brother to be around. With no further ado, my brother, Jackie Muhammad.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Jock Nation, we are here. We are here. Well, it's good to see Sister Beverly on deck. I love Sister Beverly. You're going to enjoy yourself, Jock Nation. Make sure you tune in. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Please don't hesitate. Back to you, Kawhi.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So right now we waiting for our brother. Yeah. He having some technical difficulties. I don't want to introduce
enemy.
There he go. There he go. There he go.
Yes, sir. I'm having some serious.
All right, so let's get to work now. I'll no further ado. Let me see. Our guest tonight has been a member of the Nation of Islam for 40 years. He's held several positions in the ranks of the FOI. like first officer and student captain of Mars number 4. He is an original member of the famed Dope Busters, in which we are discussing tonight. He is founder of the Supreme Soldiers Motorcycles Club, which help organize bikers from around the country for 10, 10, 15, justice or else. He has authored a book, which we are going to discuss tonight, titled Free, Justified, and Made Equal. With no further ado, and with a Jock Brothers round of applause, our brother, Captain Tim Muhammad.
Islam.
Ramadan Mubarak.
Ramadan Kareem.
Bismillah. Brothers, I would like to thank you from me and my wife so very much for having us on this program. You know, we appreciate what you all are doing. It's very much needed. One of the reasons that we wrote our book is because we feel like we should tell our own story.
That's right.
By you having programs like this, and you control the narrative of our story. We have been victimized so long from people that tell our story in a negative way. And by doing so, they control the narrative. Look, we've done so much in our community, so much in America and the world that has not been told. Some of it has been documented, but it's never been told. As a people, FOI and MDT, they have acquired a certain amount of knowledge from God himself. We're supposed to be able to push this program of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad through his representative, the Honorable Minister Farrakhan, to the ends of the land. And the beauty of it is, right now, the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is more important to me than it's ever been. I mean, look at what we're going through. The Caucasian back is up against the wall. He's up against the wall to the point he's pushing miscegenation, mixing of blood. And he's producing black babies on a TV station, a radio station, whatever you bring on, where you see mulatto children because he's pushing miscegenation. But he have to, you know, or, you know, the other ulterior is that his white woman is not producing babies. Mr. Louis Farrakhan said within 100 years, there will be no white people on the planet. So that was about 10 years ago. So he's desperate. He's desperate. So what we have to do, you know, is show the strength of the teaching of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Because them black babies that he produces, they need this word, the word of Muhammad, you know, and with that, we can hasten the devil's demise, you know, as we run his behind into hell.
Praise be to Allah.
Shalom.
So let's get to work. Let's talk about this book, Free, Justified, and Equal. So, before we get to that, I want to let you know the first time I heard of Dope Busters was when I first joined the Nation of Islam. That was about a little over 10 years ago. Brother Rashad actually was given the responsibility. You remember that, Brother Rashad, of schooling me on the Dope Busters. I was talking to our Southern Regional Minister Sharif Muhammad, and I was like, they was telling these stories, and I'm looking at him, and I'm like, he's such a little guy, you know. And he looked at me and said, he just like, why nobody ain't told this man about me? And Rashad took the responsibility of schooling me. So those stories, man, we just don't hear anymore. So I salute you, brother, for bringing that story to life in this book in the way that you did it. So let's just get to it. And I just want to get the show started with that. That was a lot going on there. What was the spirit behind even going over and doing taking on such a big project? Nobody else had done it. It wasn't like a blueprint as to how to do it. So what was the spirit behind that? Can you talk on that, Brother Tim?
Yes, sir. Look, in DC, I have to give credit to Brother Sharif. He's a strong and powerful captain. He's my captain. I was his first officer. I was his right arm. You know, we made it do what it do. But what we did, we organized the brothers at FY. We believed in training. We trained the brothers, we trained the lieutenants, and we had a goal to capture the city. That's what we wanted to do. So we went about, door to door, pushing the program, talking to the people in various different sections of the city. Look, there were brothers in DC that were from Northeast and never been to Northwest. There were brothers in Southeast that had never been anywhere in DC but Southeast. So it was a lot of brothers and sisters that had a lack of exposure to their own city. We wanted to capture the city. So we went about door to door. It just so happened in Mayfair Mansion, it was only a few blocks from the mall. We would go door to door, push the program, and then spread out to other sections of the city, or door to door. Then we hit hot spots all over. We had a strategy of how we wanted to take the city. It just so happened when we went into Mayfair Mansion, being in Mayfair Mansion was in the top 10 open air drug markets, in the United States, and #1 on the East Coast. When we went over there, when the drug boys, little drug dealers saw us coming, they would leave. They didn't want any confrontation. They were trying to sell some drugs. They say, "Oh man, the Muslim here, let's get out of here." They would leave. So the tenants saw that, and they approached Mr. Reynolds, who owned the property, and the property manager, and they said that they wanted to know if we would come over and patrol for them on a regular basis. And then Brother Sharif, met with Mr. Reynolds, and we set up a meeting, and then the rest is history, brother. We went up in there and we started taking care of business.
Hold on, brother. Let me get Sister Beverly in here. Let's get a brick eyes. Let me get Sister Beverly in here. Sister Beverly. Now, I just want to know.
Yes, sir.
Did he discuss his plans to go into Mayfair and do what they did before he did it? If so, what were your thoughts on that?
No, sir. The brothers made a commitment among themselves. They didn't let on to the sisters what they were doing. It was very, very dangerous because the drug market over there was bringing in millions of dollars, and people were getting killed. Sometimes their bodies were laying out on the property because the ambulance and police, they couldn't come in because of the violence. It was hell on earth. So they weren't going to tell us. We didn't know. I didn't know. Brother Sharif's wife didn't know. Sister Nisa, Sister Captain at that time, we didn't know what they were doing. At least not, where we knew what they were doing. So that he just told me that FOI, we're going on a special job. We got something that we're going to do, and I'm not going to be home. So don't worry about me. I'm cool. I'm cool. And my husband's a soldier. I mean, he's an outright soldier. I married a FOI soldier. So that means that my marriage is also a soldier's marriage. So I didn't question him. But that afternoon, after this dope guy pulled a sawed-off shotgun on one of our brothers and tried to shoot him and murder him. We didn't know there were no cell phones. There were only pagers back in those days. And I was sitting in my home, and Brother Tim runs through the door, and he says, I gotta go. Get me a clean shirt. And I looked at his shirt. His shirt had blood on it. And he said, I gotta leave. I gotta go. And he was ruffled a little bit and whatnot. And he ran in. He took a quick shower. Don't ask any questions. Just turn on the news. And I'm saying to myself, this man done something, and we're gonna be fugitives. As I knew we were going to be on America's Most Wanted. As he wouldn't tell me, he was just hyped, and he had to get back to where he was. So when I turned on the news, that's when I saw what happened. I said, oh, Allah, thank you, because those brothers and sisters were being held captive over there. I mean, going into Mayfair Mansion, but it was no lightweight thing. Murder every day. So when he ran out, I said, well, let me unpack my bags. We're not on America's Most Wanted. This is a cause for Allah.
You got a question there, Brother Jackie?
Well, I wanted to know why the title, Free, Justified, and Made Equal. What was the motivation behind the title?
Motivation behind the title is that we are a free people, and we are justified in this country to be, a people of justice. And Allah came to us in the person of Master Fard Muhammad and made us equal, even in our dead state as Negroes and so-called American Negroes in America. He made us equal to everything. I mean, we became the best of the best. Although we were the worst of the worst, he came to us. Remember, we used to, when I came in the nation, I heard a brother tell us this story about Master Fard Muhammad with the Circle of Scientists. And when the Circle of Scientists, the Circle of Scientists wanted to kill us, talking about the Negro, so-called American Negro, along with the Caucasian, as he was going to kill the Caucasian. But Master Fard Muhammad stood up, and he said he would go. And we're talking about the 12 major and 12 minor scientists. He would go himself. So fast forward, he went, he got his messenger, he come back to the Circle of Scientists. Now, another story in Revelation speaks of Allah and the 24 elders, which are the 24 scientists. And it's a lamb. It looked like he was slain from the very foundation of the earth. And they asked who was worthy to open the book. None of the scientists were worthy to open the book except for the Lamb of God, which was Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Other than the master fell down in a swoon. They said, oh, worthy is the Lamb. So we're looking at a so-called American dead Negro that was the first begotten of the dead, that was risen by the master Fard Muhammad. And Honorable Elijah Muhammad came together. So Master Fard Muhammad, through the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, made us equal, even in our dead state. So we had to put it out there. All praises due to Allah.
Wow.
Praise be to Allah.
May I add something to that, please, Brother Jackie? May I add something to that?
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely.
The MPT are also taught to teach our children. Allah gave to us a national, the sun, moon, and stars. It means that we are free, justified, and made equal to all mankind. That's something that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught the women, that we should pledge to ourselves and teach our children. And this is what we strive to do. That's also something, not just an explanation that Tim gave, but also something that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad told us to teach our children.
I wanted to thank you both for not only coming on to the show, but I want to thank you both for presenting to us these books. I met Brother Tim, maybe it's about 2003 when you became captain in Atlanta. I didn't know too much about your history, but I'm a history buff. That's why I really enjoyed your book. You took us back in time, not only in the creation, the setup of America from the European settlers, but you took us beyond that to our kingships and our queenships in Africa or Asia. And then you brought us and gave us a chance to even walk in your footsteps. But in this history journey, you spoke about the strengths of our people. And I wanted to know, do you use these historical events in your life to strengthen you as you face all of these challenges that you show in your book? It seemed like every page was a life challenge. You face a life-threatening event. Did you draw on these historical events that you speak about? Tim?
Yes, sir. You know what, Brother Ahmed, I'm glad you asked that question. Yes, sir. Are you there?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Ahmed?
Yes, sir.
Brother Ahmed, can y'all hear me?
We can hear you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, I'm glad you asked that question because, look, we have to understand when Allah came to us, he told us that we were gods, we were God. So being that he did so, when I accepted the teaching, I heard Minister Farrakhan in a place called Spiritual City. First time I ever heard him speak. And it was a place that a young man had taken a movie theater and turned into a church. And the first time I heard the minister speak, he was speaking on Jesus. And the minister spoke so strong and so convincing that his words, I mean, I was converted when I heard him on the radio. But when I saw him and I got to meet him and feel him and touch him and embrace him, brother, look.
Wow.
Hey, Brother Ahmed, look, man.
Sister Beverly, sir?
I
didn't know if you made
I can pick up from there.
Yes, ma'am.
Would you like for me to pick up where he left off?
Yes, ma'am.
Brother Tim, as you said, Brother Tim has had an extraordinary life. I'm not sure if many people personally could have survived the many things that he had to go through. You know, I mean, when you read the portion in the book about his life story, you know, my cousin, after he read the book and he asked Brother Tim, man, how many times you been shot? How many times you had a gun pulled on you?
That's right.
You know, I mean, this is a man that's walking around with a bullet in his head now. It's just right here, you know. This is a man who was locked up and tortured in solitary. You know, the man who a white man did him such wrong that it's almost unspeakable. I don't want to give it away because I want you to buy the book.
Right.
But what makes Brother Tim who he is Allah. Because everything that he writes about his life in the book, he can go back and relate it to our people. Everything. So that's why we say in the book, you know, say what you might, but when you read the book, you see Allah was making him for something. He was making him to do something.
Praise be to Allah. Brother Tim,
you want to finish, Brother Tim? Brother Tim? Okay, all right.
Well, Sister Beverly, you can expand on that a little more with through your book and dealing with the sister or your grandmother and the trials that she went through. Because I see she dedicated it to the grandchildren. So was a lot of that inspiration and trials that she went through, did it strengthen you in your journey?
Oh, without question. My mother taught me that my grandmother was born in 1872, and the Quakers came and got her and put her in school and educated her. And in 1897, she graduated as a doctor. They told her she couldn't be a doctor. And she washed toilets and did what she had to do to become a doctor. And she became the first Black doctor. Brother Tim's going to join us up here, okay? The first Black doctor, not first female doctor, the first Black doctor in the state of South Carolina.
That's right.
And in 1910, this white newspaper, which is still in business today, South Carolina State News, wrote an article and entitled it "The Brainiest Negro in America." And it tells the story. She gained, you got it, sweetheart? She gained all of her knowledge from being studious and from being, I mean, this woman was so militant. And in 1916, she wrote a book. And in this book, she put a case for separation. And she said that we need a territory called Negro land. And the white people need to give us 4 to 5 states. And with 20 to 25 years, they need to protect us. We need to still be under the American flag, but separate. Like California is separate from New York. They got their own governments, but they come under the Federation of Government, you see. And we believe that she possibly did this because she might have met with Master Fard Muhammad, because he traveled from 1910 to 1930 unknown. But when we met Brother Benjamin Muhammad and his wife, Sister Clara Muhammad, who became Muslims in 1933, when the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad lived with them, he told us that the messenger told him that Master Fard Muhammad would travel around the country, especially in the South, and meet with prominent Blacks to share with them some ideas and to hear what the complaints were. So in 1916, you have this Black woman in segregated South Carolina talking about we need a territory we can call our own. They need to give us anywhere from 4 to 5 states, and they need to give us help for the first 20 or 25 years. So, and she writes out the case, the legal case on how this needs to be presented to the Supreme Court and how we will not ask for it, we will demand it legally. And if they don't get it, then we'll have to go further.
She's putting her life in jeopardy because she also had an opportunity to go to Africa. And she stayed to open up a school. Right.
Right. That's right. And she refused to go. She told my mother one time, and my mother passed it on to me. She said, "Why do we have to go to Africa when many of us are in a worse condition than the people in, we're not doing nothing for ourselves.
Jeez.
So these two are very militant women. And they just named a street after Dr. Evans in South Carolina, in Columbia, where they are building up a district, a business district. And she's the first woman to have a street named after her. And I think it says a lot that the white man is making that street in the new business banking area, because she was a businesswoman without doubt. Very militant, strong Black woman.
Yes, ma'am.
Very strong. She did all that raising 11 children. I mean, she didn't make no excuses. And how much of that rubbed off on you, Sister Beverly?
I know you have to get past
I have a question for you, Sister Beverly.
See, brother Tim, you hot, man. We didn't have all these issues before you came on. You hot, man. The FBI still mad at you. They still mad at you, brother. That's what I'm talking about, brother. Yes, sir. Go ahead, Rashad.
I have a question actually for both of you. I remember growing up as a teenager in the Nation of Islam, and number 4 was the Star of the Nation. And everybody wanted to duplicate their mosque like number 4 because you all were pumping in every aspect of the mission. I would like to ask both of you, one for you, Sister Beverly, when you came up with your title, A Case for Separation, and find out that your family had already been working on the case of separation into present time, do you believe that the state of Israel in its current condition is a case study for us in our case for reparations?
Not necessarily so, because whereas we were kidnapped and brought over here, Israel went over there and robbed their territory. We're not robbing any territory in America. So, and we and Israel's never held in bondage. They survived World War II, with the Nazi camps, but we have been here for 400 years. And what you have to understand is that there is no comparison between what we're asking and what they're asking. We didn't rob this land from the Indians. We didn't rob this land and deny it to the white man. We were doing fine in our kingdoms in Mali and others, but they kidnapped and stole us, brought us through the Caribbean, weeded some of us out, brought us over here to America, kept us blind at them, tortured for 400 years. And you want to compare us to Israel? I think not.
And also understand that Israel was backed by the United States of America and the Vatican, and also Europe. So all of them were in cahoots with everything that they have done, to us. Those same one that backed Israel to become a state were the same one that backed America and Europe for our slavery, So now we can't compare them today because they had all the backing in the world. And we were treated like animals, worse than animals.
And you have to ask the question, Brother Rashad, who is the real Israel?
Right.
Come on.
You have to ask
That's what I was getting at.
Who's the real Israel? Tell them what Sadat said.
Right. Well, it was Sadat Anwar Sadat, and the head of Israel at that time, Menachem Begin. Menachem Begin, they were at the foot of the pyramids.
Being interviewed
by, I think it was Mike Wallace. And he asked, Mike Wallace asked Menachem Begin, he said, isn't it ironic that we're here at the foot of the pyramid, with the people that were in bondage for 400 years. He was talking to both of them, with these two leaders, the leader of Israel and the leader of Egypt. And Menachem Begin said, we have no history
Come on.
at all No, but not
okay.
Right, the head of Israel. We have no history at all of being in bondage by any man. So that 400 years that Abraham was talking about was a future people, the seed of Abraham. And as Minister Farrakhan has told us, that is us right over here in America.
And when you read the story, Free, Justified, and Easy, that's why we say that we sell the books in a set. Because Mayfair Mansions is a microcosm of what we have to do. Even if we don't get the states, we got to take over our cities, our communities, our schools, and make them better. And then eventually that might lead to the states that we need. You see, so the books are being sold as a set. What was going on in Mayfair Mansions? Go right ahead.
I'm sorry. That leads me to my second part of the question was for Brother Tim and the Dope Busters history. Did you know at that time that you all were actually stopping? I heard you say it was $1 million operation, but most people identify that as the Ray Edmond days of Washington, D.C. Did you know that those Contra drugs that were going on from the government level at that time, were you all aware how deep that rabbit hole went?
No, sir. No, sir. You know, and that's a good question because we were there pushing the program. You know, we were pushing that paper. We knew about, of course, Auburn knew about the Auburn North, you know, Contra, you know, war, you know, the Contra and Sandinista. We knew about all of that, but we didn't know, as you say, how deep that rabbit hole went, you know. Now, as you see in the book, you know, they financed, you know, and supplied Freeway Rick Ross. He didn't know that he was being a patsy or a pawn. He was illiterate. He was just trying to make some money. You know, it wasn't until he went in prison that he found out what was actually going on. And when he went to prison, he ended up defending himself and winning his case in prison. But here you have a genius of a man, a talented man, but because he could not read or write, he got hung up in the drug trade. And those people that were in the Contra, you know, they knew him and the CIA, they set him up, you know, just like they do, just like they did with Rayford Edmond and all of the other drug boys that they actually put out there to be the face of their product.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. And just to add as a caveat, I thank you, Brother Tim, because like I said, I came into the nation as a teenager, and I don't know about the other brothers, but I've had the opportunity to go into battle with you, and I was able to make it back home with my family safe. Thank you, Brother Captain.
Oh, I got some more stories. I
said I don't know,
Well, Brother Captain, you know,
we have a few more stories. You know? Praise be to God.
I want to kind of go back. So, you know, I like to. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Dedication in the nation. Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Go right ahead.
Oh, yes, sir. So, first of all, I wanted to. I know Ahmed called you captain in Atlanta before. No, you were captain in DC, right? Or you a captain in Atlanta as well?
Yes, sir. I was captain in Atlanta as well.
Oh, wow.
Captain.
I was a captain in Atlanta. I was a minister in Atlanta. I started the first 15B. And 15B charter was signed by Minister on himself. Yes, sir.
In fact, he asked us to start 15B.
Right. And I started, and he didn't even let it go through the council. He signed it himself. He told Brother Sharif, he said, tell Brother Tim he got a mosque.
That's right. We had 80 names on the petition in less than 2 weeks.
And we became number 2 in the region.
That's right.
I mean, in paper and in paper sale, and also in savings they give. You know, within 1 year, we took a drill team and all that.
Right.
to Chicago.
And our Vanguard drill team came in number 3, and they only had about 3 or 4 months to prepare. Our daughter, Sister Nadia, was Vanguard, junior Vanguard captain at that time.
Oh, praise
So,
be to Allah.
Praise be to Allah.
It
That
depends
puts a call for a
on-
lot of-
the mosque is like a garden, and the laborers should attend to the garden. We don't have cookie cut. How do you say cookie?
I said, we're not cookie cutter Muslims.
We're not cookie cutter Muslims. We are people. We are not a club. We are not a sect. SCECT. We are a nation.
Right.
Nation of people that come from different backgrounds, that come from different belief systems almost. You know, what made the Dope Busters so awesome in Washington was that through people like Brother Jackie Muhammad, Brother Hamza, with the police, Brother Jackie I'm referring to him from the research team, with the Dope Busters, we had no big eyes and little U's. Everybody came. And we combined with Brother Minister Reverend Willie Wilson from Union Temple Baptist Church. At that time, we were having our mosque meetings at 2 in the afternoon. We would go to his church at 10 o'clock, and his church would come to the mosque at 2 o'clock. And for people that did not necessarily want to join the nation, but they wanted to support the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, we had what was called Friends of Farrakhan. Right. You want to come on over here and work with us? We will work with you. Right. You remember that, Rashad? Friends of Farrakhan.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, then
Golden
we get
Dome.
together. You just remain Christian, and we can remain Muslims, because a good Muslim is a good Christian. A good Christian is a good Muslim. And we took Washington, D.C. And what happened in Washington has never happened in any other area in the United States in totality the way it did.
You know, sometimes we have to think outside the box to get the work done. Look, I heard Mr. Farrakhan say one time, he explained righteousness. He said righteousness is the act and quality of being correct. He said sometimes we say what we can't do. He said we always say what we can't do, you know, which is a little bit of can't do. And say we got a whole universe of what we can do. And we get a little bit of can't do mixed up with the can do. And we end up doing nothing at all.
Like
we got the supreme wisdom that came from God himself. We got to push hard. The minister said, my job, this Mr. Farrakhan talking, he said, my job is to make the word perfectly clear. He said, your job, talking to us, is to build a nation.
Right.
He said, and I'm doing my job.
Absolutely. It's like the sister told me one time when she saw me on a motorcycle with my husband. Sisters, we don't ride motorcycles. I said, y'all don't? I do. Because wherever my husband goes, that's where I'm going. He's my protector and my God. So yeah.
When I started Supreme Soldier, a lot of brothers were skeptical about Supreme Soldier. But the minister liked it. But he told the Supreme to tell me that
Mustafa,
he told him to tell me that I should change the colors on it. Because you seen the colors on my Supreme Soldier was an X with a star and crescent. He said, but change the colors because, say for instance, if we be riding alone sometime by ourselves, it was a target on our back. I was concerned about our safety because I ride alone a lot on the motorcycle. So I got this star and crescent and the X on the back. So, you know, we did change it a little bit.
You know, I wanted to get into some war stories from Mayfair, but I mean, this conversation took a whole spiritual twist, and I'm loving it. You know, well, so just I guess we could talk about the war stories later, right? So let me tell you one. Yeah, sure. Tell me one. Yeah.
Can Brother Tim tell you one more story about Brother Tyrone?
Yes, ma'am.
In the booth.
Yo, don't expose me. Don't expose me, brother.
See, no. You know, real quick, one's in the book, one is not. One day we got a call from a brother. One brother came to Brother Sharif and myself, and he said that we were in the command post, and he said that his sister had been kidnapped by some drug dealers.
Teenager.
She's a teenage woman, 14 years old. So Brother Sharif gathered a squad of brothers, a team of brothers that he could get his hands on right then and there. And I think about 6 months, it's in the book. You know. And we went into the house, you know, some of the people in the community went to the drug house. They told us where it was. We went up in the house, broke the door down, caught them by surprise, and went up in there and went to battle. We went to battle so hard, one drug boy jumped out the second story window to keep from, you know, keep the heat off him, and he left. So after that was over with, we got the sister, you know, and brought her to the car. When we got to the car, there was another drug dealer on the street where we were. And we got in the car, but we got in the back, I got in the back with him. Drug boy came up to the car right in the back and pointed the gun right in the back of us and pulled the trigger. And it misfired. He pulled it again, and it misfired. We pulled it off. He was disgusted. He held it up in the air and pulled it in, and the gun went off. And in the book, you see what it said at that point. I no longer say that I believe Master Father Muhammad is God. I know he's God for what he has done. Now the other one is not in the book, but we had one of our soldiers, Brother Tyrone. He was in the guard booth, at the mouth of man coming in. He was there at night. A drug dealer came up to the guard booth and emptied his gun right at the brother in the guard booth and missed him, except for hitting the tip of his finger. And he ran. And when Tyrone reported to us, of course, we converged on, we looked at it, and we looked at the guy was riddled with bullets. Brother, he was at point blank range, and he missed.
That's right.
That's on God.
That's right.
On God. Look,
That's right.
all that we did with the dope busters and NOI security, all that we did, we had no fatality.
None.
How can you not believe that Allah is not God and the person
Right.
Muhammad and people are not backed by him? Not just us out there as a dope bust. I'm talking about all of us, FYNGT, believers in the nation of Islam and followers of the nation of Islam. We are backed by the power of God if we believe.
Yes.
And I say that in all sincerity. I mean that. Because I was at that door too many times not to believe that he's not God.
Absolutely.
He is definitely God. And he came to us. You know, but we have to believe in him.
And I know he's God because every night I did not know if my husband and the other sisters did not know if their husbands would ever make it back home alive. Every night. But Allah protected them and
Praise be
and
to
every night my husband came home to me. All praises due to him.
So Captain Tim, what do you do now? I mean, what do you do now in your time now? I guess to on an everyday basis. I know you started the bikers. What's the name of it again? The
Supreme Soldier.
I guess Supreme Soldier. I know you started that. I know you wrote this book. Now, what else do you do in your spare time?
You know, brother, I had a bout with cancer, you know, and really at the point that I had cancer, I really didn't know if I was going to live or die. I had an aggressive form of cancer. And mind you, I was in tip-top shape. I was like 69 years old, in tip-top shape. I was in the gym, bench press 200 pounds, 5 repetitions, you know, every other day. I was hulked out. I was looking good, feeling good. I'd be up in the gym recruiting, brother. I used to have my FY t-shirt on, FY for life. And I'd be up in there talking my trash. You know, I was big, I was doing all of this stuff. But when I got my checkup, they told me I had cancer. I said, where did it come from? And the doctor said, I don't know. It just appeared. So I went to 5 doctors, same thing. So I'm saying, man, you know, before they kicked dirt in my face, I wanted to do something to let everybody know I was here and to tell our story in the way they should be told, that I thought it should be told. So we came up with the book. I did that after I started coming out of recovery. I started archery. You know, I started archery, you know, bow and arrow and all that. And I wanted to compete, you know. Plus, I finished building my motorcycle. I got 2 of them. And then this one. That's what I did. Then ran with his security company. Brother had I started doing consultation for him and things of that sort. That's what I was doing, trying to recover from this thing, dreaded disease, called cancer.
By Allah's grace, he beat cancer because they don't have it doesn't have it anymore. Allah.
So I say to you, I say to each one of you brothers, each one of you brothers, the only thing that saved me was early detection. That's it. Each one of you should get your annual checkup. The minister said it also. Each one of you should get your annual checkup, you know, to make sure that your stuff is together, because I didn't know I was in perfect health. At least I thought I was, you know. But even at my age, and like now I'm 71, but even a couple of years ago, I was in perfect health. So I say to each one of you, and I say each one of you younger than me, so you need to go ahead and get your check, get your PSA, you know, get it early, you know, so you make sure that you don't have to worry about that dreaded disease called cancer. Wow. You know, if God's man, if God, the voice of God, his man, can get it, any of us can get it.
Yes.
So we're at the point of final words, but before we do that, do any other brothers have any other questions for our guests?
I want to say to Sister Beverly, excuse us for not asking a lot of questions, because it seems that we did not want to get in the way of the Spirit of God, of how he will lead you all to talk to us. This is a very, very good conversation, just listening to you all testimony. And it's building the faith of the believers that's listening, just on the line, just listening to your testimony, because it's filled with faith. Your testimony is just filled with faith. So thank you once again. So excuse us for not asking a lot of questions. We did not want to get in the way of the Spirit.
No, not at all. Well said, Brother Jack.
Yes, sir.
Final words, final words, Sister Beverly.
Yes, sir. You will find in the book, Brother Tim did an excellent contribution to the women in Islam, and you'll find that in the book. Most notably, the work of Mother Tanetta Muhammad and the work that she did to bring up all of the historical and intellectual things that we needed to know going into Washington for the Holy Day of Atonement. And her research was so fabulous and so detailed. As Mother is a scholar, Mother Tanetta is a recognized scholar from around the world. The people were so impressed with the book that she put out and the information that the Washington Post ran an article on it. And in that article, that's where they explained why us coming to the Washington Monument for the Holy Day of Atonement wasn't just a march like a march on Washington. We were there because it was written in ancient Egypt that we would go into the underground and the underworld and then emerge according to the prophecy of what is called the America Star. And we would be the ancient Egyptians reborn again in the West. So I want to always give contribution and appreciation to my dear beloved teacher, Mother Tanetta Muhammad. All praises due to Allah for her.
And before we go to final words with Brother Captain, we want to let everybody know that each one of us. Okay, go ahead.
My final word is to each one of us, hold on to the handle of Islam. This is it, brother. We don't have anything else to go, anywhere else to go. America is gone, and we are, the final. We are the final knot, in this rope, and nobody else can go past us. The greatest thing that ever happened to me was being the most honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and become a member of the FOI and a member of the Nation. As I wear my shirt, I'll be an FOI until I die, but that's it, brothers. I tell you, because his brothers are the line. And one sister, brother, hold on to the hand of Islam, and and hold on to your health. Make sure you get your checkup and take care of yourself and your family. Family is everything. So I thank you all again, for having us on your show. And all I thank our leader, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, and his Jesus, yes, the most honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
That's right.
We can all say we walk with the man of God. Yes. Let us go to our grave walking with the man of God.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so very
much. Well, don't go nowhere. Don't go nowhere. We all want to have a final word with you. But before we do that, we want to advertise their books. You can please support Brother Tim and Sister Beverly. They got two great books. I had a chance to read Brother Tim's book in its entirety. I'm not just getting to Sister Beverly's book, but it's a great read. And you can get their books by going to their website. Now, it's a long website, but if you look at it, it's just the title of his book. It's free, justified, and made equal at yahoo.com. It's just the whole title at yahoo.com. Once again, it's free, justified, and made equal at yahoo.com. Please support some of the greats that we've had to serve us in this great nation. All right, so Brother Rashad, final words.
My final words. I'd like to thank the Jog Brothers for having me on. I'd like to thank the Jog Nation for accepting me. I'd like to thank Sister Beverly and Brother Captain Tim for their example over the years of good Muslim life that helped me try my best to be a good Muslim. Thank you. I'd like to thank the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, for if it were not for his standing up, we would not be here.
That's
so
right.
Thank you.
Praise be to Allah.
Thank you.
Final words, brother.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I'd like to thank you both for being there, for all of us, for coming on the show, for producing the book, for being there to train us, for producing children that are out in this world, producing more children and carrying on your legacy. I just wanted to read something from Brother Tim's book, 2 sentences real quick that there's so much in this book that stands out to me. But the world now stands at the dawn of a great universal change. So I write my memoir as a contribution to a new and better world. Just the fact that there's so many brothers and sisters who haven't met Brother Tim and Sister Beverly, that these books that they produce will go down in time, and it forms as a training manual. Like I said earlier, a walk in your shoes is almost like a retraining. So just soldiering with you the time that I have, and even being able to call you and talk to you, it's always been a blessing. We thank you, and we pray that you continue on in this great work. Thank you, brother and sister. Thank you, sister.
Thank you, Brother Ahmed.
Final words, Jackie Muhammad.
Yes, yes, sir. You know, my first time meeting Sister Beverly was at the graduation at Blackstone, and you did the I can't even think of the name of it, but you were speaking, and it was my first time ever seeing you, hearing you, and you was teaching, and I was on post. And man, I'm talking about my post was weak. I was weak on my post being Sister Beverly because you did such a phenomenal job ministering. And then you became one of my children's teachers. And they talk about you all the time, and talk about the great, what you do for them, how you make them think, just how you are as a person with them. And you leave a lasting impression on those who you meet. You have a beautiful, beautiful spirit. I'm mad that I only just met you all, to be honest with you. And I met your husband. We ran into each other at night while we was working. And he said, "Well, what's your name, brother?" I said, "Jackie Muhammad." He said, "You Jackie Muhammad?" I'm Timothy Muhammad. I said, "I know who you are." I don't know if you remember that, Brother Tim, when we was downtown one night. But you both have such a wonderful, wonderful spirit, and you're such great example of just Muslims. And it's an honor to let you. It's an honor to know you all. I want to say to Jock Nation, this is who you get 100% of the time. They are one. Sister Beverly, she's going to teach. And if you're wrong, she will give you a call and straighten you out. Like she'll call the Jock brothers and straighten us out. She called us and put us in a conference call and straighten us out. But it was love. And that's our way. So if we offend one another or do something in error, our way is to give you a call and offer you a better way. And that's what she did, and that's love. That's a Muslim. And I just want to thank you all. I just met you all, but I just have so much love for you all. Just that, it's just that. So may Allah continue to bless you, Jock Nation. Support the books. They are set by them both. They complement each other. This is what you get. These are the authors. They beautiful. May Allah continue to bless both.
Thank
you. Brother, yes, sir. And Brother Richard. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Brother Richard, you got a good spirit, brother. I hear you, brother.
Praise be to Allah, sir.
Yes, sir. Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar.
So on the first note, man, I really love how the two of you bounce off each other. Yeah. Even though sometimes I hear Sister Beverly talking, and then at other times I hear Captain Tim talking, it sounds like one person talking, to tell you the truth. I mean, y'all know every little nuances of each other's story. So like when you had the audio trouble, she was like, "Oh, I can tell the story," and just took off with it, you know. So I mean, it's a beautiful relationship that we all should be striving to have. Striving to have that type of relationship with our queens, with just with each other. So I really like that. What I saw here, in terms of the way y'all like relate to each other, But then on another note, Captain Tim, I've been hearing your name. I've been hearing your name for a long time. I just never knew who they were talking about. I mean, this is my first time really. When I saw the book, it was my first time seeing you. But this is my first time ever getting a chance to talk to you. So, I mean, your name precedes yourself. Clearly did great work in these ranks, and I don't want you to ever think, man, that that you've been forgotten, man. You have put yourself in a lot of people, and from time to time, when people tell these stories, they fun stories, your name pop up, brother. So it's an honor to meet you. And when I read this book, right, I had no idea who. Y'all big time, man. I mean, I look at Sister Beverly like that's my son's teacher. That's and I had no idea the work y'all had been putting in all these years. I mean, no idea. I thank you for giving us an instruction to read your book. They wouldn't come on our show until we read them. So we had to write our word, our bun, and we did. And sometimes you got to force a person to do right. And it was right what you did by making us read your book, man. I learned a lot. I really thought I was one of your soldiers as I was reading the book. There's so much I want to ask you about those times. Hopefully next week, though, we get a chance to do that, because next week we're gonna have Captain Tim back on the show. Is that right, Brother Ahmed? I want to make sure. Is that right, Brother Ahmed?
That's right.
As we honor the dope busters and keep that memory and that legacy alive. We just don't want stories like this to go in the grave. And if y'all brothers could do something about it, to keep that story alive and breathe, and then we're gonna do all we can to make that a reality. So that's what I got to say. Everybody tune in next week. Please support our brother and our sister. And Brother Jackie, with no further ado, take us out, brother.
Another one.